Hello, everybody. This week we are starting our narrative unit, specifically focusing on investigative journalism. So, here what we have for you is our first lesson on investigative journalism. Now, before we get into our lesson for this week, you're probably asking, what is investigative journalism in the first place? Well, investigative journalism is a type of journalism where the reporter deeply investigates a single topic of interest. Key phrase here, deeply investigates. That means they dive really into all of the details to try to capture the most important information. So for this week, we want you to learn are three things. First, that journalists notice small life moments. So they're always watching what's going on around them to see what they can make into a news story. When they notice a small moment in life, they try to capture the most important information that happens during those moments. Then they turn those moments into really interesting news stories that they share with the world. So, what is the most important information, and how do we determine what's most important and what isn't? Well, we use this by observing the W's: who, what, where, when, and why. So, this is the 5 most important pieces of information that we want to capture in a small moment to make an interesting news story. Let's show you 2 examples that Ms. Fox and I came up with to show you what we mean. Here's Ms. Fox's news story example. Let's take a look at it together. Last week, a little boy fell off his scooter outside on the sidewalk of my house. He was crying so loud and had scraped his knee. No one came out from their houses to help him. I ran to get my mask and went out to help him, but I couldn't get within 6 feet of him to help him up. Finally, his brother came up from around the corner, lifted him, and carried him home. If you look at Ms. Fox's example, you can see where we've highlighted in color the most important information. We have who, a little boy, I and his brother, where, on the sidewalk outside my house, when, last week, what happened, he fell off his scooter, no one came out of their houses to help him, and the brother came out and lifted him around the corner. And why all this happened, Ms. Fox couldn't get in within 6 feet to help him up. So here we have a small moment, something that Ms. Fox just noticed outside of her house, and we were able to turn it into a news story using the 5 W's. Let's look at a different example. Over the weekend, Mr. Tag went outside in my backyard to mow the lawn. My 2 kids, Avery and Logan, wanted to be helpers. They noticed all of the leaves that had fallen from the trees onto the grass. I watched as they took out their rakes and started making piles of all the leaves. When they had all the leaves in a big pile, they picked them up into bags. They were so happy to be able to help out in the yard. So again, this is a different story, but it still can be an interesting news story by using the 5 W's. Who, Mr. Tag, Avery and Logan, and me. What? They went outside to mow the lawn, took out rakes to rake up the leaves, picked up the leaves into bags. Where? Outside in my backyard. When? Over the weekend. And why? They wanted to be helpers, and they had seen that all of the leaves had fallen onto the grass. So you can see again, a small moment, something that I happened to see while I was at home over the weekend, and I was able to turn it into an interesting news story by using the 5 W's. So now it's your turn. Here's what we would like you to do this week on your independent work days at home. First, you're going to click on the Padlet link below. Next, you are going to type a newsworthy story that you have witnessed, just like the examples that Ms. Fox and I gave you. Last, you'll finish this Ed puzzle and turn in the assignment. Good luck, and we can't wait to see what you come up with.